What's going on, guys and gals? A little change of scenery here for this episode of Wealth Wednesday. Outside, the little vitamin D, and this beautiful sunshine, this beautiful weather. Anyhow, so first Wealth Wednesday was all about credit. And the reason that I started there is because I think that so many of us have kind of a dysfunctional relationship with what the foundation of money really is. You know, some of the most major purchases that we're all going to make in our life, for example, purchasing a home, has to be done with good credit. Should be done with good credit. And we don't really talk about money. We're not supposed to talk about money, right? You grow up and it's like, hey, don't say how much money you make. Don't talk to so-and-so about how expensive their car was. So there's this kind of misconception around money talks. So I want to normalize those things. And I think the best way to do that is to understand it, right? It's just this simple animal that's out there that nobody really has a conversation about. So I want to do it here. So with that being said, for me, credit is where we start. So credit is important because credit is leverage. Credit is good leverage. Look at this, guys. Golly, it's gorgeous out here. Credit is good leverage, and so many of us have been told, oh, don't use credit, it's bad for you. Debt equals credit equals bad. And some of that's true, not all of that's true. Debt is bad when you can't pay your debts. Debt is bad when it's frivolous. Debt is bad when it is more than you bring in. So your debt exceeds your expenses, okay? Now, that being said, whoops, switched hands. That being said, leverage is a good thing. Leverage is a great thing. When you look at how the stock market works, most people will use leverage. Fund managers will purchase tons of assets with leverage, and you have to do the same thing. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Let's talk about balance transfers. Last week, I told you go to Credit Karma, open up your account, get your credit cards dialed in. Now, the reason that I told you to do that was so you could use balance transfer checks. Check this out. One of my very first hard money deals, geez Louise, 20 years ago that I ever did, 20 is an exaggeration, by the way, that I ever did was on a balance transfer check. It was $20,000. I had a $25,000 credit limit, and I went and I took my balance transfer check. You know what those are? Those are the things that you get in the mail all the time that say, hey, 0% for X amount of time. Perfect. You're going to give me 0% interest for 18 months, 15 months, 16 months, whatever it is. As long as I exceed that 0% and I can pay you back in the allowed time frame, leverage is good, folks. Now, let me walk you through the deal. I had a guy who needed a $20,000 hard money loan. He was offering me 12% on this loan, 12% for 6 months, okay? I wrote the check to myself from my credit line, $20,000, deposited that into my bank account, gave him the $20,000. He paid me back 12% in 6 months. I paid back my credit card, paid it off, and got my interest at 12%. Okay? That's a very small deal, but it's doable. So many people are out there looking to hit home runs, and it's not necessary. Second base, you can crush life being on second base your whole life. Okay, folks? Now, that being said, use it to your advantage. So if you're working on your credit, you don't have the best credit yet, you're working on it, what you want to do is take these 0% cards and look at some of your debt, okay? Check this out for a little credit hack. Number one, let's say you have high interest rate debt. Could be from whatever. And let's say you have a 0% card that's giving you 15 months to pay off debt. You're going to write yourself a check. You're going to pay that debt off. You're going to divide that debt into however many months you have. Let's say it's 15. So if it's a $15,000 loan, you've got $1,000 a month to repay. And if you can do that, your debt goes away. 0%. Win-win. Not only are you building your credit, but you're also building your credit worthiness for future loans. Okay. Just a simple example. Now, that being said, how do you build it? All right. Let's say you get a credit card. Let's say you get a Chase credit card, for example, and they give you a $3,000 limit. Awesome. After you use that card 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, call up their customer service and say, hey, I want to increase my credit limit. They're going to tell you no problem. They're going to run a soft pull is what they call it. It's where it doesn't impact your credit. And they will give you, let's say, a simple increase, $1,000. Cool. Do that with every single card you have, every single 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Eventually, $3,000 limit becomes a $30,000 limit. Eventually, one $30,000 limit becomes 4 $30,000 limits. $120,000 pretty quickly. Now, why is that important? A couple reasons. One, the small deal that I mentioned earlier as the $20,000 barrier to entry. A lot of people go, hey, I don't have 20 grand sitting in my savings account, but you've got $20,000 in available credit. And if you can exceed the interest rate, it could be a good leverage position. So now, as you start to see opportunities in the market, and I'm not talking about crazy opportunities. I'm not telling you to go and take 20 grand from a Visa credit card and put it into Bitcoin. No. I'm talking about good, solid investments. I'm not saying Bitcoin isn't. By the way, I am interviewing a Bitcoin guru here coming up shortly. And sorry about the sweat, but y'all got to get the workout in. It feels good. I am interviewing a Bitcoin guru, and he's going to walk us through why we all need Bitcoin in our life, okay? So that being said, you're going to find opportunities in the market. Right now, we're finding a bunch of distressed assets, okay? Distressed asset could be homes, could be real estate, could be small businesses, could be a number of things that you may not have able to write a check for. But if you've worked on your credit over the next 6, 12 months, and you're able to put 6 figures into credit that's available, now you have the ability to write these balance transfer checks to yourself, and you have the ability to really make a difference in your life, okay? So keep that in mind. Go to Credit Karma, find out what your credit score is, find out all of the available credit that you have. If you don't have any credit, start opening up cards. Don't open up cards and go nuts. The cards that you want to look for are going to be the cards that have a $0 annual fee. It's going to tell you right there on the application before you even do anything. It's going to say, here's the dollars for your annual fee. Here's what your interest rate is. Here's the incentive for the card. Some of them are cash back. Some of them are points for airlines. But you want to make sure that the card you're getting has a $0 annual fee. Okay? Sign up for as many of those as possible. It's going to ding your credit, so you might as well do as many in the same day as you can, because it's only going to have that one inquiry. On top of that, you want to make sure you get all of them in the same tranche, so that you can set your reminder 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now and say, hey, I need a credit increase on all of these cards. So balance transfer checks come from high credit limits. High credit limits come from asking for high credit limits. High credit limits also come from knowing where your credit score is, and that all starts with Credit Karma. So I'm telling you, folks, 6 figures in credit is your new goal. So I want everybody to go and do that, and I want to hear from you guys. Go open up credit cards and tell me what your credit line is. The individual with the highest credit line in the comments, I'm going to send you $500 worth of swag from the Fresh Out Gang. I'm going to send it to you, so I'll get in touch with you. The person with the highest credit limit that they just opened, and I'm going to need to verify it. None of this crazy, YouTube nonsense where we put a filter on our face and we pretend we're pretty. I'm going to need to verify it because everyone's going to double check me, check my papers. Make sure that you put it in the comments, and we'll get you hooked up with some swag from Fresh Out. So that's the goal, folks. A ton of money in credit to be able to use as leverage to our benefit, okay? Keep that in mind. Debt is good when you're able to exceed your expenses. Debt is good when you're able to use it as leverage. Debt is good when you're able to pay off your debts on a revolving basis and use the spread as arbitrage. So use the 0% to get yourself a higher yield. That's called arbitrage. That is all positive stuff, okay? Keep in mind, credit worthiness has an impact on your overall FICO score. and credit utilization does as well. So the higher limit that you have, let's say you have a $10,000 limit, if you're using 3,500 of that 10,000, that's a perfect 35% ratio. If you're using 9,500 of that 10,000, that's not a perfect ratio. So make sure credit utilization is about 35% of your credit limit, and make sure that all of your bills are paid on time. That's going to increase your FICO score. The higher your FICO score goes up, the more credit that's going to be available to you. The more credit that's available to you, the more opportunities you're going to have to be able to make a difference and an impact in your life and in the world. All right? Credit is good. Debt is good when used properly, when understood properly. Go out, make a difference today, and share this with everybody who wants to get rich. Talk to you soon, guys. See you next week.